What should I stockpile in anticipation of food shortages? Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. Where I'm going to go with this is a direction you might not expect, I guess. It's important that we, as preparedness-minded individuals, have the ability to produce our own food. I talk about that a lot. Very, very important. Because stockpiling food is also important. But if you don't have a way to replenish that or to supplement that, it will run out. It will last a finite number of days, amount of time. So where I really think, if we're looking long-term, if we're looking shortages, some of the most important things I think that you should be stockpiling, and it's different for each individual, for where you live and what your abilities are. Stockpile what you don't have the ability to produce, forage for, source locally, meaning right there in your community. Stockpile these things. Because if you have the ability to produce a bunch of A, well, why stockpile a bunch of A? Stockpile B instead. Here on my property, I can't grow wheat. I could grow corn, but not really in very large quantity. I also can't grow rice. I can grow beans though. So for me, it would be stockpiling things that I can't produce right here in my area, or people right here around me, tribe members, can't produce. We can produce chickens, we can produce eggs, we can produce meat, we can grow that, we can raise that kind of stuff. We can also have large gardens like you've seen mine. I can grow a lot of stuff. I can grow a lot of potatoes, I can grow a lot of peas, a lot of beans, a lot of tomatoes, a lot of beets, a lot of turnips, a lot of carrots, lots of things like that. Kale grows really well here. There's a lot of things that grow really well here. So why stockpile things that I can produce myself? Just a sec. Yes, baby girl?
Anyway, also, on kale, you might get aphids. So you gotta keep those off.
Okay. Thank you. Now let me do my video, please.
Yes, Dad.
No more interruptions. She's talking about aphids on certain plants. Yes, that's a factor always. We're not really talking about that today, though.
No.
We're going to talk about, like I said, grains. I can't grow buckwheat. So I look at my preps and I say, okay, what can I produce? Or like I said, what is available locally? What can I source locally also? Blackberries all over my property. Huckleberries, black huckleberries, red huckleberries, all over the place. I have blueberry bushes. My neighbors have lots of apple trees and plum trees. They have chickens. I know lots of people around me have chickens, so I can get lots of eggs. Fish I can get very easily in this area. Lots of lakes, lots of rivers, lots of streams. The Puget Sound is close. So yeah, we can get a lot of fish. What about game? A lot of deer around here, obviously, but that is a limited resource. That's not to be counted on long term, because as we saw, or as you can read about, during the Great Depression, the deer herd was almost wiped out. I mean, deer population was reduced to minimal levels. Luckily, it's recovered very well now, but there's also bear in this area, and there's also other animals, squirrels, grouse. Okay, baby. Yes, you may. There are a lot of things like that around here. So there's no need, actually, I'm not saying there's no need to stockpile. I can grow a lot of beans, right? Well, I'm still going to stockpile beans because they're super cheap. That's another thing. Stockpile things within your budget. If it's just beans and rice, corn, wheat, okay. But also think variety. Meats, fats, fruits, dry goods, bulk dry goods, canned goods, freeze-dried bucketed foods. That's something I haven't mentioned in a while. It's part of your food storage plan. It should be. Those freeze-dried, bucketed meals, bucketed foods. If you would like to get some, I can save you some money. Preparedwithap.com. Links in the description below. It's My Patriot Supply Ready Hour food buckets. Good stuff. Like I've said before, we stockpile them. We use them. I don't use them too often because I want to keep them in my stockpiles. But we have eaten them. We eat them every once in a while. They're good. It's good stuff. I like it. That's the only reason why I tell you guys about it. It is an affiliate thing, so I can save you a little bit of money, and I get a little bit of money. So it's a win-win if you're ordering it anyway. I'm not saying go out of your way. Just, it's a good thing to look into, though, as part of your well-rounded food storage, as well as canned goods and those bulk dry goods. Bulk dry goods are really where a lot of preppers excel, because you feel really good about buying that 25-pound sack of rice, that 50-pound sack of rice, a 50-pound bag of beans. I mean, for, what is it, like for 40-ish bucks, maybe even under 40 bucks, maybe 50, I don't know. I forget. I haven't bought it in a while, so I haven't seen prices. But you can get 200 pounds of food. And you know how whenever you put beans and you cook beans and you cook rice and they expand, how much it actually makes. I mean, yeah, you're talking a lot of food, a lot of bang for your buck. And that's good. Do that, definitely. But think about also things like spices. Think about the availability of certain foods from around the world that are going to be affected by current events, things going on in the world. It really seems like we're getting dragged in the direction of World War because there's certain people that want it. There's a lot of money to be made in war. You know, the bankers make all the money, and the poor suffer and die, get maimed. They do all the fighting. They do all the suffering, while, you know, the powers that be roll in all the dough. So military-industrial complex loves war. Hey, I was in the military for 20 years. Would I have stayed in for 20 years had I had the knowledge and the mindset that I do now? Probably not, but it's changed a lot also. It's one of those things I used to always highly recommend anybody to serve time in the military. Nowadays, not so much. Especially if you don't want to get the, you know, that thing. Yeah, because it's mandatory now. So yeah, you may think twice about that. Sorry, but it's really about stockpiling things that work for you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you got to stockpile A, B, C, and D, because A, B, C, and D may not work for you. You may not like A, B, C, and D. You may not like C. Maybe you love A. I don't know. Maybe you have the ability to produce lots of D and B. So maybe you should only stockpile A and C. I'm here to empower you, to get you to think. Because if you think and you figure things out on yourself, by yourself, on your own, you're going to be empowered. You're going to be uplifted. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel that sense of accomplishment. I'm just here to encourage you to plant that seed of what you should be thinking about stockpiling maybe. There's other things other than food, of course. Wilderness survival gear, equipment, spices, seeds, defensive tools, defensive tool gear type stuff. Increasing your ability to produce as much as you can is also very important. So what materials do you need for that? Do you need cinder blocks for your beds? Do you need logs for your beds? Lumber? Do you need tin? How are you building them? There's a lot of different ways to do it. I've done quite a few different ways to make raised beds. Or do you need to invest in a rototiller and put it in the ground? It depends on where you are, what your ground is like, what your soil is like. But the ability to produce your own is how you're going to get, how societies get through tough times. That's how, like I talked about in yesterday's video, how us in the United States are just not equipped to deal with things like food shortages, like the rest of the world is. To them, it's not as big of a surprise if the shelves aren't totally stocked. They're also more of an agrarian society also. And Americans tend to freak out when they don't have the abundance that we're spoiled with and that we're used to. I know I had shock several times. It was just a weird thing, like spending a lot of time overseas and then coming home and coming back here and just going down the grocery store shelves, walking down the grocery store, my mind blown, overwhelmed, the overwhelming amount of choices that we have. Product A, there's 8 different kinds of, and it's like that's not like that in the rest of the world. There may be product A, but there's one of it, one choice, one brand, one whatever. It's not 7 or 8 of that thing. I mean, yeah, I was overwhelmed several times where it was just like, oh my gosh, I almost couldn't figure out what I wanted because there's just too many choices. I don't know if you guys have ever felt like that. We are very blessed, but we also need to remember that we need to be able to take care of ourselves. I will not be in a government line going, please, may I? Ain't gonna happen. I hope it's not gonna happen for you either. That's why I'm trying to talk about these things. And it's not just straight across the board. It's not just you gotta buy beans, you gotta buy rice, you gotta buy corn, you gotta buy wheat. Okay? If you do those things, sure, great. But what if you have the ability to grow, 10 acres of corn? Well, you probably don't need to buy any corn. So just seriously, take a look at these things. Make smart choices. Make smart choices with your money. Money is limited. We all, and probably none of us have it just coming out our ears where we just have, too much. It's always something we got to deal with. Getting the most for our money is important. Yes, bulk dry goods are inexpensive. Usually the best way to go about stockpiling a lot of food. But it may not work for you. Do what works for you. Listen to what other people are saying, what they're recommending. It may give you some ideas. But don't just follow like a sheep. Be smart. Use your own brain. I like talking to you guys like I'm trying to teach, empower, uplift, and train leaders, not followers. I don't want a bunch of sheep. I want people that can think critically and decisively and be effective members of society, members of their communities, of their tribes, of their families, and to be an asset, not a liability. Please subscribe, hit the like button, comment below. I always forget to say this at the beginning of the video. I always tell myself I'm going to say it at the beginning of the video. So if you're still here, you probably are already subscribed. But please think about it if you're not. Check out other prepper channels, subscribe to them too. There's a lot of good people out there, a lot of good knowledge. Yeah, have a wonderful day and blessings to you and yours.